Karina spoke to GM President Dan Ammann about the company's journey to expand in China.
Well, we're obviously a very major player in the China market. We have been very successful there over a long time, enjoyed all the growth that's come up till now. And so here we have the world's largest market growing at a solid upper single-digit percentage, and that's great. And we're participating in that and driving the business forward. So we're very pleased with it.
So 7% is good enough for GM?
7% of a 24 million unit market is a good thing, and we're in a great position there, and we feel good about it.
Now, speaking about great position there, Cadillac is a very strong brand for you in China. Why do you think that has been so successful in China, and what do you plan on doing to continue growing on that success?
Well, it's really the usual formula. It's great vehicles, it's a great dealer network that we've been building out in China, really good customer experience, and really bringing in younger generation buyers into the brand, and it's been tremendously successful already. We're localizing production in China for our key Cadillac entries. Just started production of the ATSL there.
Speaking of investment in China, you're planning on investing $14 billion into 2018 to build a variety of facilities there. Tell us more about those plans.
So really this is production capacity to obviously keep up with the growth in the market. Although its growth is a lower percentage growth, it's on a very big base, so a lot of extra capacity will be required. We have clear plans to add that capacity and bring new models into the business, and that's where the money's going.
All right, now speaking, we have to talk about Russia. It is a sore spot for the auto industry right now. GM had to close its plant in St. Petersburg and discontinue the Opel brand. It is the third largest market in Europe. So tell us how substantial that loss has been for GM not being in that market.
So let's just contrast the size of the Russian market. So we talked about the China market growing from sort of 24 million units last year to maybe 25.5 or 26 this year. So that's 1.5 to 2 million units. That growth in China this year is bigger than the entire Russian market. So we need to keep this in perspective relative to the size of it. So the Russian market, we think, will shrink again dramatically this year, and we didn't see a recovery anytime in the near to medium term horizon. We had a very big investment decision right in front of us to commit a large amount of capital to that market, and we just couldn't make that work relative to the future that we saw.
When do you expect that market to return?
We don't know, and we didn't see a recovery out on the horizon anytime in the foreseeable future, and that's part of what led to the decision we made.
So we've also seen some difficulty when it comes to Europe, mainly because of the strong U.S. dollar, which hit a 12-year high against the euro in March and an 11-year high against a basket of foreign currencies. How has the strong greenback impacted your business, particularly in emerging markets and Europe as well?
So in Europe, it hasn't had that big an effect. We're very heavily localized in Europe. Most of our Europe cost structure is in Europe, so that's pretty well aligned and in balance. So that's been probably neutral overall in terms of currency impact to Europe. Relative to some of the emerging markets, clearly it's been more of a challenge for us and for others as those emerging market currencies, which most of our revenues are denominated in, have weakened, and we obviously have costs in US dollars and other currencies. And so we've been offsetting that through localization, offsetting some of that through price increases in many of these markets, and maintaining profitability to the kinds of levels that we want to.
I also want to talk about the impact of the lower oil prices. How has that impacted consumer demand for your products and the kinds of cars they want to buy?
So there's really two effects there. One is overall demand, and what we're seeing there is the savings from lower gas prices. It's a little bit like a tax cut. People just have a bit more money to spend every month. So we're seeing some of that come back into the industry. Hard to measure how much of that is there. And then secondly, and perhaps more obviously, we've seen pretty big mix shift in the market. Here in the US, the truck business is very strong. More people going in full-size SUVs and big trucks. That's good for business, good for profits for us, but it does change the mix of production and the balance in the marketplace.
And how do you rebalance that, given this sort of unexpected change in the currency? I mean, basically, I would assume that before this happened, people were more interested in fuel-efficient cars, and now that we've got the oil prices that much lower, that perhaps there's less demand for those kinds of vehicles. So how quickly can you turn things around on the production side?
We're scrambling to build as many trucks and big SUVs as we can, and rebalancing capacity from other parts of the segment. But demand has surprised us on the strong side on the truck business.
And in terms of technological advances this year, what are you most excited about?
So we unveiled the Cadillac C-T-S last night here in New York City. And that car embodies everything that we know how to do from a technical perspective in terms of where the future of the automobile is going. Everything from autonomous assisted driving through powertrains and everything else. And so we have a massive technology investment that we've made, massive technology investment in front of us. We have 7 million customers that are connected consumers that are, have a live connection to their car for us. We've rolled out 4G LTE broadband connection here in the US, doing the same in Europe and in China this year as well. So we believe this industry will change more in the next 5 years than in the last 50.